All right, everyone. We're back again for another damn conversation. I'm speaking. I'll be speaking with Driving with Ty this week. While I'm at it, I can tell you that I've secured a guest for next week, and that's going to be a young guy out of the Miami area, the South Florida area. Reggie Run It Up or Reggie Ran It Up. Reg, my apologies if I got it wrong, but I know it's Reggie. So, and I know that you're down in South Florida. So he's going to be on next week. Young guy who's working very hard down there. And my guest again this week is Driving with Ty. And the reason why Ty is on because he kind of appeared in a recent I'm speaking, and I'm like Ty. I told him during the live stream that hey I'm gonna ask for you to come on. So that's what happened, and Ty is on this week. My man,
What's
thanks
going
for
on?
agreeing to come on.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, well, we kind of talked for a couple minutes before the live stream started, and if I were a pastor, I would tell y'all to pray my strength in the Lord tonight. Gig War, Red, hey there, that's Gig Wars official. That's Red. She's out of Pennsylvania. Patrice, hey Patrice. Let's see if I'm not mistaken, you're in the Columbia market. Yeah, we talked a few live streams ago. So, um, Ty, you are in the Washington D.C. Maryland market, right?
Yeah, the basically the District of Columbia region, the market. Yeah.
Okay,
hmm
okay. Well, believe it or not, I once worked at the Richmond Times Dispatch in Richmond
hmm
decades ago, and so I am familiar with that area. In fact, the last time I kind of famously was in the Maryland market, it was at College Station at the old Cole Fieldhouse. And what had happened was I'd gone up there to cover a Clemson basketball game, and I talked my ex. She was like to the end when it comes to expecting our daughter.
Right.
And what had happened, the doctor said that, hey, if she doesn't come out by Tuesday, we're going in. Well, her water broke that morning, that Saturday morning.
hmm
And by that afternoon, when I showed up for the basketball game, I called her in the hospital where she just had our daughter. It was like 3:15 that afternoon. And so famously, I went straight from BWI to Greenville Spartanburg Airport, and then from there drove cross state, Greenville Spartanburg back to Columbia, and then
hmm
got to the hospital and didn't see my daughter. And my famous three words were, "Where's my daughter?" So, but all that is from that all stems from my experience at Cole Fieldhouse up at College Park.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Mhm. So, um, we're gonna kind of kick it around for a few minutes here.
hmm
Um, One thing I noticed was at the start of your videos, you famously call yourself Ty Leroy, the multi-app king. Ha!
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought that was a little something funny, and then what movie that's from. Yeah, well, the
Which
Leroy
one?
part. You know where the
Oh, You,
Leroy
ta-
part is
you
from.
talking about Show Enough Shogun?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
put my face over Bruce Leroy, so I was like Ty
uh,
Leroy, so
okay. Yeah, Show Enough Shogun.
uh
Let me see here. I'm gonna pull it up here. Let's see one of the videos. Um, when he starts. Let's see. Let me make sure that I got it set up. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. See, this is what starts his videos, the multi-apping master. Now, I like to think that well, it's not so much as me trying to top you or anything like that, but I will say that when I started the Gig Geezer channel back in
hmm
2021, I was on the multi-apping gospel um,
hmm
because in my market, I felt that you just couldn't work one or two apps. You had
hmm
to work as many apps as you could to get to where you wanted to be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, with that, okay. So I started this gig work thing. 2000. I had my first app was 2015. That was Uber.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Back
I
in the
really
golden era where you could make some
back in
money.
the days where you could come out 4 hours and you'd be good to go for the rest of the
Right.
day, you know.
And then if you come out Friday through Sunday afternoon,
Hmm.
I heard the stories where you could make a G.
Yeah, yeah, easily,
Mm-hmm.
easily make a G.
Mm-hmm.
So I started off with Uber. I did like one trip in 2015. Um, went to go get my seat. I was working for this company called Metro Access,
Mm-hmm.
would deal with paratransit. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to go get my CDL because one of the clients was like, "Man, you doing this all this driving for this little bus? Go get your CDL." Boom, boom, boom. So
Okay.
went to
Okay.
go get
Yeah.
my CDL, 2016. I was still doing, like Uber here on the side. I think I just got Lyft. Um, and I got DoorDash when you had to go to like a office to get your DoorDash package and
Right.
everything.
In
Yeah.
fact, with Lyft, I remember when I came on in October 2016, you usually had to
Hmm.
meet up with someone, some type of coach who would
A
kind
Lyft
of
coach. Yep. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
and
So
they kind of hook you up with getting on with the Square app for
yeah.
tips,
Hmm.
and then just kind of well, they kind of figure out that hey, if you look like you kind of know what you're doing, they didn't go through
Right.
all the academics of Lyft and all,
Right.
but there was money to be made. That's the thing.
Hmm. Yeah. And I ended up taking the gig economy thing serious like into 2017 after I got injured at Coca-Cola. And they gave me hell, dude. After I got the check and everything. It was, oh, I think you should, I think you should take a break, or they wasn't trying to let me come back because I
Uh huh.
basically got a check from them, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was like, dang man, what am I gonna do? Like,
Hmm.
what I'm gonna do? So I ran into Facebook group, and it was this other guy. He don't post no more, but it was at the time his name was Rideshare Revolution, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. 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 He out of Mississippi.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh, let's just
Chicago,
say that.
Chicago. He was from Chicago, in
Well, you said
Chicago.
Rideshare Revolution.
Rideshare
Oh, I'm
Revolution,
sorry.
dude.
I'm thinking about DoorDash Revolution. He out of
Oh yeah.
Mississippi. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, I was like, you know what? I could take this Uber and Lyft thing serious.
Mhm.
So I ended up taking it, ended up taking it serious. Started ad apps like this was in 2017, like Amazon Flex and
Right. Okay.
Postmates and all
Hmm.
that crazy stuff. And then I
If
figured I'm like,
you remember
at that time,
Postmates is a trip.
yeah.
My very first Postmates, I waited like 45 minutes. It was 45 minutes to an hour, and it was to a hotel. And the thing is, with Postmates, you didn't know what you were going to make.
Nah.
All it said was it showed approximations on the map where you were
Yeah.
going, and you didn't know where you were going until you got there, pretty much. And the same thing with once you picked up, that's when you knew where you're going to go. And then famously, that order paid like $4.38. I was
Hmm.
mad, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Postmates was garbage. Postmates was just like pure trash. And
Hmm.
when I end up figuring out Postmate was trash, then Caviar came up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys had Caviar down that
No,
way.
no,
It was
no.
like a high end DoorDash before. So
Okay,
DoorDash ended up buying Caviar.
right. Okay.
But it was like a high end DoorDash, and I was cleaning up. I would go up Northwest DC where all the
Hmm.
rich people at, and grab their orders. And I was like, hold on, I can make this thing work. I can make
Right.
this thing work. So I just perfected. I feel as though I perfected the craft, and we know that the prices are going down now. So
Hmm.
but still, I'm just trying to teach people on my channel, hey, grab two orders at a time, do this,
Oh
do
yeah,
this,
I could tell you about that. In fact, some of my early Gig Geezer videos, I showed how to actually stack orders across multiple
Mm,
apps.
yeah,
And some people call it dirty multi-apping. No, I
yeah,
just call it maximizing my opportunities.
right,
That's all it is.
right,
Well, we got here Nova Hustles. That's where I think I'd ask for you to
yeah,
come on because he he had appeared, and you came on. You showed up out of support with him. A Pringles can with veins. Hey there, Nola Grind. He was a guest a few weeks back.
Yeah, I was just hanging
Um,
with those guys. Just hanging with them. What was that last week? The week before last?
okay.
Noe came down here. Finally met up with Nova. He been getting on my case about that, but Nova live about without traffic, what 35 minutes away from me. So yeah,
Thanks Nova for supporting both of us.
appreciate it, appreciate it.
Our Rig CH83. Hey there. We talked for a good bit in a recent when I had a free game, and he was one of the folk that I just had a conversation like with you,
Hmm.
and answered a bunch of his questions. In fact, he he posed a question to me to ask that I might do in a video, and so I did that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I listen. I try to listen to everyone. I'm guilty of not giving the answers to the test, but I think what I've tried to do is give information that can help people stay in business.
Right.
So anyway, but back to some of these apps, man. You bring back some memories there.
Oh yeah, man. I didn't think I don't think I done touched every app, man. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
Nova crazy. I think I done touched every app though. I think I did
Hmm.
every app that was available in
Right.
my market. I got apps just sitting collecting dust right now, you know. So,
Hmm.
you know, other than that, that's my thing, man.
Well, I yeah, I've got apps, but you know, I'll just put it like this because I have primarily spinner slash cargo van.
Hmm.
But I also have what I've done is I've gone back to working vehicles appropriate for the opportunities.
Hmm.
So that means I've been doing more F 150 and maybe every now and then out of the Taurus. And the van, you know, it gets a workout. Um, but yeah, like for tomorrow, I have a catering opportunity and I'll use the F 150.
Yeah.
Because of the dollar amount, I kind of know that hey, this is something I can put in the back, and I've got a dolly, and I've rigged up where I have a board that fashions itself when it becomes like a cart.
Right.
I've got a board that fits right in there, and so it provides a flat surface for stuff to stay on and don't fall off.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something that I learned over time, you know. But yeah, so that means that you've also been on the catering apps. Is that?
Catering apps. I've been on every catering app from Red Wagon to Zifty to Skipcart got catering. I don't know if you're familiar. Freight has catering now. Uh, so I
Freight
swap
has
back and forth.
catering. They do.
Freight has catering.
No, I've not seen that in this market.
Yeah, Freight. I did a couple of caterings on Freight on my channel. I had an $80 one,
Wow.
a $70 one. So Freight in my market does have catering opportunities that pop up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So I swap back and forth from the cargo van to the regular vehicle too. So
Hmm.
depends, but I'm noticing stuff starting to pick up, in the cargo van game right now this month.
Right.
So in my market, so
Hmm. See, we got Patrice saying he's steady on DoorDash and Spark every now and then. Brody. Okay. So I forget what side of town that Patrice is on, but man, the only thing about Spark is that you got those folk. I mean, what's a trip? I be seeing people in Cadillacs and Audis and BMWs. I mean, it's not just folk like you and I.
hmm
It's folk, you know, who's got some more than likely some high car notes that are doing these things as well.
yeah, yeah. It's this lady, um, God, pulled up. I pulled up. I was in my cargo van, my E 250. I pulled up, picking up two TVs, and I see this lady in an S550 doing Spark, and I'm just looking at her like.
Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just looking at her like, and she's doing a batch order. And if you're familiar with Spark, now when I
Right.
first started sparking during COVID 2020, um when I first started doing Spark, uh, COVID 2020, it was paying to do batch orders. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
$120 for 9 stops. That it was paying good. But
Mm-hmm.
now the batch orders ain't paying up but $50. So I'm looking at her with like 15 stops in the S550, and I'm like, it can't be that serious.
But you know what? I remember when you used to have those batch orders on Roadie as well, and some of
Yeah,
them could get up into $100. If it's the right one, it's worth the while. If not, then
yeah.
you're really just burning gas and paying them to do it.
They
Um,
they still get up like that. It's just people don't let them get up like that. Like I done showed a couple of times on my channel where
mhm.
I done got a couple of surged up batch orders because usually people give up around 4 o'clock, four
Right.
o'clock in the evening. So usually I might be in the house around that time, but I might go check Roadie, right? Because I
Mhm.
know it ain't no drivers out there no more. So now you get them surged up last minute batch orders, and 4 stops, $100, 14 miles type situation.
Right.
How about IC? Are you Instacart?
Yeah.
Are you a? Nah, I ain't. I mean, last Instacart trip I do, and it got to be very slow for me to do Instacart. I mean, it got to be very, very slow on all my full. Well, my main app right now is Roadie. Um, when I'm doing this challenge right now, so my main 4 apps have been coming through is Roadie, Lyft, and Power Ride Share. Y'all got that down your way. And
What's that?
Empower Ride Share.
No, no, we don't. It's just
You in North Carolina, right? Or
I'm in
South Carolina? You
South Carolina.
oh, okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, okay. My bad. Yeah, so stay down in
South
North
Carolina
Carolina.
is going to be last with everything. I mean, hey,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, the joke with them is thank God for Mississippi, but it's getting to a point where they can't even say thank God for Mississippi. In fact, Mississippi's probably saying thank God for South Carolina, Mississippi, and West Virginia. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, with the Instacart thing, it got to be like super slow for me to even attempt to turn on Instacart. I see some people on YouTube still making a lot of money on Instacart. Instacart just never my thing. It was never really my thing.
Mm-hmm. Let's say Rig CH struggling with these carriers, just dat board, just trying to stay consistent and build behaviors. Okay, he's talking about working brokered opportunities.
Okay, okay.
He's got. Well, then if you got CDL, then you know what I'm talking about with the MC number and
Mm-hmm.
USDOT. And so he's starting out, and as you know, when your authority is still relatively new, they like to kind of push you aside.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to own a box truck business too, so I know.
Uh
Trust
huh.
me, I know. So good luck on that. I mean, what I recommend people to do on that is, quite possibly find somebody to run under to that 3 months up.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the companies gonna start messing with you after 3 months. Some may not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Rig CH, you're gonna hate me, man. I did a freight a little over a week ago, taking some. Well, it was a long run though, but I earned $306 on it. So, um,
Yeah.
like I said,
Freight got them
you'll hate
sleeper
me
orders. Freight got some orders
every
coming
now and
out.
then, every now and then. But
Every
you,
now and then, Freight decide to wake up and send you something. Like, oh, okay, Freight, I see you.
well, here's the thing. 2 years ago when it came to my market, man, I mean, myself and a couple other folk, we made a killing on that app.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking at some numbers now. I earned as much as $3,800 in a single month on that app back in 2023. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that they were changing, their payout structure,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, through it was through June of last year where I was still making money, and then all of a sudden, it just went off the cliff, and I've earned like as low as $39 in December of last year,
Mm-hmm.
and this year, on freight. Well, I didn't even do anything in January, and then February I did a couple small things around town, and then this month mostly with that long run for $306. And the reason why I took it because I had already made some money that day, so
Right.
I was just running up the numbers.
freight used to be like super good, like, and it
Mm-hmm.
used to be like super reliable. I haven't did a freight since I did a Lowe's probably like a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when freight do pop up, it'll be like Rich said, it'll be like little 25 $27 orders, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they pop up with like the catering orders just told you about. They pop up with like some catering orders in my market, or like a Sherman Williams order that'll pay out. But uh I think what these apps do, they lower the price because they know it's people out here that still want to take the order point blank for it.
That is
And once
true.
they figure it out, I call them,
Yeah.
you call them thirsties, I call them crackheads. So I mean, look,
Same thing, man.
I
Back
mean,
in the day, they were called strawberries, but the same thing.
yeah.
Same
So
thing, man. Yeah, and but I've kind of held back on calling folk thirsties. If you've noticed, I've cut back on that because I understand that folk, they got to do what they got to do. But at the
yeah,
same time, I just feel that you can't make a habit of that shit because that's how you kind of. I mean, that's how you end up complaining about you ain't making no money because you're taking that. That's what they want. They want you to take those bad orders. In fact,
they they really want you to take those bad orders, and I don't think you should. To be honest with you, it ain't too many people on YouTube that is honest, and that's why I may not comment on yourself, but I do watch a lot of your videos and throw likes
mm-hmm,
up there.
mm-hmm,
You're very honest, and people need to hear this because I said on one of my videos, probably like maybe 6 7 videos ago,
mm-hmm.
on live, somebody asked me, what's another, what's a couple of other people I recommend to watch, because I said I pointed you out.
Mm-hmm.
um
Well, thanks.
it's a good, no problem. There's another guy named Ran Rican. If they really
Okay,
want to see a
yeah,
journey of people swapping from gig economy to cargo van, I said you. I said look at Dom Gigabyte NYC. He got a little, I
right.
recommended him to get a little
The mom
stow and
van.
go,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um it's different channels that people really don't know about, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of bigger channels that's getting pushed and saying the wrong information, because
Yeah.
I'm not only gig economy, wise, but I done did the load boys, I done did the box trucks, I done drove tractor
Right.
trailers, I done dispatched my own self, I done dealt with commercial insurance. I know that I ain't gonna say the channel name, you don't tell nobody to get commercial insurance just to go do VHO and DoorDash, and
No, you don't.
um you don't. But this is what people are pushing with.
Well, actually, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You can get a rideshare endorsement. You don't have to get
Yeah,
commercial insurance now,
right,
but it also depends on the state. I'm also
right.
an insurance agent, so it depends on the state because the problem is that if you're in a claim situation and you're
Hmm.
out there doing a gig app order, they could deny the claim if you don't have the correct coverage. So depending on the state and the situation, it could be that. But I think a rideshare endorsement will
The the
suffice.
Yeah, $10 extra a month, the rideshare
Mhm.
endorsement. But not only that, if you look into like VHO or Axel Hire, I mean they changed their name to Jujitsu, or
Mhm.
even looking Roadie terms of service. You did get them terms of service.
Right.
That stuff that you have on the back of your vehicle is
Mhm.
covered.
Mhm.
Is covered. So you got occupational insurance with VHO and other apps, but people really don't dig into them TOS.
Right, and I did a segment on that where
Yeah,
some places tell you they're very vague about it because they don't want to come they don't want it to come back to them being
yeah,
sued, but they'll say consult your insurance agent who will tell you
yeah.
what you really need and all.
Hmm.
But if you read between the lines, you can understand what you need. Now there are some apps where you do need commercial insurance.
Yeah,
They
most definitely.
want you they want you to have it. You
Yeah.
won't have any orders. You won't be on board unless you have the commercial
Hmm.
insurance. So it is what it is there. Patrice said here, yeah, Patrice, I think was the barber. That's do you find it's difficult to get an order on freight because of the time it takes to actually look at the order and make a decision? Um, No, and I'm just gonna say that because I've kind of worked the app for 2 years now. Um, I kind of have a feel for what I'm seeing. I'm looking for certain things, and you know, if I'll just leave it at that. I'm looking for certain things, and if I see it, I'll hit the thing and kind of look at it to make that quick decision.
Yeah.
And um, usually, if I pull the trigger on it, I don't. I it's not often that I get beat. Although there's
Hmm.
a fast friend of mine, we used to curse each other out back in 2023 when the orders really were coming out. I remember him calling me first thing in the morning, talking about motherfucker, man, motherfucker, you took my order, motherfucker. And I'm like, what are you talking about? In fact, the end of 2023, he said, man, you fucked up my Christmas because I happened to find what had happened was I had an order that took me down like about 50 miles from Columbia,
Hmm.
and it was for decent money, okay? And while I was down that way, a freight order came up. It was some shingles for $300. And so he's like, motherfucker, you
Oh yeah.
fucked up my Christmas. And it came out Christmas Eve.
Oh man. Oh
I'm
man.
like, hey, no, that made my Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a couple of independent contractors that I met, out on the road, and I talk to every day,
Oh,
and
okay.
we,
Tattoo
we
artist, my bad,
oh yeah,
Patrice. He's
and we
tattoo.
we talk
Okay.
every day. But with the freight thing, I call it,
Mhm,
if you got the eagle eye, you got the eagle eye. We might move faster than other people. We might
mhm,
look for certain things, boom, 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 scan through it, and we accept it.
mhm.
Other people really gotta
Yeah,
take time to really.
you have to kind of train yourself. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Amazon Flex. And I'll give you an example with Amazon Flex. Because I was on the app from November 2018 to October 2019. There were some folk who were using bots. And
Mm,
so what I learned real quickly is that the bots are looking at that top line.
yeah.
So I trained my eye to look at the second and third one. And oftentimes the second and third one was the better order
Yeah.
or the better block. So that's what I learned to do real fast. Some folk would have fat fingers on these apps for sure.
Them Amazon
Cray
bots was crazy
Cray.
back in the day.
Cray Cray. Hey there. Cray Cray is my security professional. So
Okay, okay.
she looks after me. Thanks, Cray Cray. Thanks for coming through here. What about Sprinter Van? Nola Grind. Fill me in on what do you mean by that? I give me something to work with on that. What about Sprinter Van? I mean, I can tell you that personally, I've had one since December 2022, and as I've often shared, and I've worked my way up to that type of vehicle. I started out in 2016 with a 2009 Ford Taurus with 176,000 miles, and I've worked my way up. So that's not everybody does that, but I did. Let's see here. We got confusing thing with freight when it says 4 pieces. Oh, okay. All right. So they working with cubic feet. It
Yeah.
used to be they actually price things according to cubic feet. It used to be weight and distance, but now
Hmm.
it's just cubic feet. How much space it occupies in the vehicle, and so what you see is a lot of vehicles with pickup trucks and cars, and they'll say transit, so they're talking about the small sprinter van. Um, so that pushes down the pricing as well. It used to be a lot of the orders would go to the sprinter vans, but now they're
Yeah.
going to the smaller vehicles. And the other thing with freight, because I've talked about this before as well, with the aggregators. What we're talking about then is one rail, and so what they've done too is that they've pushed a lot of those orders on DoorDash and Uber Eats, and
Hmm.
possibly Lyft, depending on the market.
Yeah.
And the issue with that is when you go to like a Lowe's, they're like, "What vehicle do you have?" Because somebody has shown up in a goddamn Hyundai Rio trying to get a plank of plywood or sheetrock,
Most
and it ain't gonna
definitely.
work.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's the first thing they say at Lowe's.
Hmm.
Sprinter fan, Chad thoughts. I mean, like I told y'all with the Sprinter van, I think they reeling me in to say something, right? So
Hmm.
because so with the Sprinter van, right? I think, like I said before, you probably didn't catch it, but like I told people on my channel, I said only person on YouTube that went from, like you just said, your tourists. Because I've been, like I said, I've been following you.
Hmm.
So I said only person that I think that did it correctly on YouTube was you.
Hmm.
From
Thanks.
doing the research to the make and model of your transit.
Hmm.
And I think they maybe try egg me in Nova, but I'm not, like I said, I ain't gonna speak on too much, but it's other people on YouTube
Hmm.
that's listening to other people that they all had these, like, a lot of followers and getting the wrong information and spreading the
Right.
wrong information, and they get the wrong make or model of Sprinter van, and they're not doing what's required of that make and model Sprinter van to make a profit. So then you have
Right.
maybe, okay, you got 3,000 people watching your video. We know all 3,000 people not going to follow. Some people just like to watch the content, but you might
Right.
have 30 out of those 3,000 people now going out to go get, let's just say, a hypothetical Mercedes Sprinter van.
Right.
Now,
Right.
hypothetically, you just throw that out there. So
Hmm.
now their stuff is broke down in a month and a half. They can't afford, the maintenance. They're not on the proper apps or the proper load board. They don't know how to work the load board. And now they in debt $70,000,
Right.
And that's why I'm teaching this on my channel. Like, I have a regular cargo van, but I do run
Yeah.
into situations. I do run into situations, like I said this on my video the other day. Hmm, I may need to go get a little a high top because I
Hmm.
am running into situations where the E250,
Right.
not doing it. And
Right. See, that's the thing that I
yeah,
mentioned as well. If I had to do it again, well, what I have suggested is that get you the longest, highest roof van, if
yeah,
that's what you're going to do. So then you put yourself in a position where you can pretty much do everything.
yeah,
Now, um, I've been able to do, I would say 95% of some
right.
of the opportunities. But even then, you mentioned this in your recent video, and we'll go over with the 6500 challenge. You
Hmm.
have to know your dimensions.
Yeah,
You have to know your dimensions. And so that's one thing that I learned very quickly was my dimensions. So I know that I can handle 10 foot inside, maybe 12, depending on
hmm,
what it is.
right,
It's not like I can't handle 12-foot planks of, or at least sheets of plywood, but if it's like 7 or 8 beams of 2x4x12s, I can
hmm,
handle that.
most definitely.
So, but you have to be smart with that, and then you also have to know how much your van can handle in terms of volume or weight.
Right.
I try to limit myself to 2,750 pounds. Every now and then
Hmm.
I've done 3,000, but 2,750 is what I try to limit myself because what you don't realize is that, as you know, your van is working harder
Right.
with uh, with that heavier weight, and I've heard some people talk about they going up the mountains, and that van was struggling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the closer that you get to your max capacity, the harder that engine transmission working. You don't know when you're gonna run into a mountain. They send you somewhere you're not familiar with, and then next thing you
Mhm.
know, you go up a mountain. Next you know, you hear your because you don't went over that maximum capacity or your maximum
Right,
weight.
right,
And I try to tell you, like you said, I try to tell people on my channel, no matter what vehicle you got, like you just said, don't go up Lowe's with a Honda Civic and try to
right.
get some planks and stuff like that. I'm not, by all means, I'm not saying that on my channel, but if you do have like a mid-size SUV, because the point of the 60, well, we'll talk about that in a second, but the point
Yeah.
of the thing that I'm trying to tell people It's just know your dimensions, man. Know your dimensions, and you'd be
Right.
surprised if you really know how to play Tetris. You'd be surprised what you could get in your vehicle if you do it the right
Right.
way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah. If you know the dimensions, yeah, you can make things happen. Um, Cyril the Mage. That's speaking of my daughter. There she is. So anyway, he said, Nolan Grant told me there was a lot of mulch in your last video. Now I've handled like a pallet of mulch,
Yeah,
a couple of 1,000 pounds.
yeah,
And what I've famously done now, and I'll give you two examples. There was one guy, I just tossed the shit out the van.
yeah.
I mean, he didn't care. I just tossed the shit out
Right.
and then took off. But then another place, I call myself going to be professional about it.
Mm-hmm.
I took another pallet with me and then placed them all on the pallet.
Mm-hmm.
So two different situations, but they both at that time paid good money.
Right.
Now, those are paying over like 250 back in 2023. Now mulch is going for like what, $40-$50.
$40-$50. So is people got a joke on basically on my channel, like I'm like the curbside king. Like
Mm-hmm.
after they drop the prices,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm gonna give you the service for the price that I'm receiving. So if I got 20 bags of mulch, I'm gonna say, hey, what you want? I'm not gonna give them too many options. I'm gonna say, yeah, I
Right.
can pull right here, or I can pull right here. But this is where it's going at. Either one of these places. I don't walk it behind people's houses. People be asking, can you take the toilet in the house? I don't
No,
do none of that. I
none
don't
of
do
that.
none of that no more. Because
Mm-mm.
it's just it's a, and now that I know the behind the scenes of how they order through Roadie with Home Depot and how they have options to pick, and now I'm like, you order the cheap options, so this is what you get. You get the cheap, you get the cheap
you
label,
you
and
get
sometimes
you
they say,
get
go
what they're
take it
paying.
back.
You get what they're paying.
Yeah,
As simple as that.
that's what you get. And now if it was a $200, $300 order, oh,
Yeah,
I might have a
yeah,
broom out, everything. Hey, what
yeah.
you needed out,
I remember dropping off TV,
Yeah.
and I remember after putting the TV up on the porch, because really all you're required to do is put in the dry area, first dry area. I heard somebody, hey, hey, and I just kept going. I just kept going.
That's it. That's all I do now. I feel as though I'm not going above and beyond. I will make sure, like with the mulch, I put it somewhere right next to the van or right next
Mm-hmm.
to whatever vehicle I'm using.
Right.
I put it right next to wherever I'm at, parked.
Mhm.
Open up the back, and I put it right there, nice and neatly for you. But I'm not going past 5 steps. I'm
Oh
not that. If
yeah.
I'm, I'm
I'll tell them. I'll tell them using a bungee thing. Hey, I can only go no more than 20 feet from my vehicle.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not doing it. And people get mad. And on Roadie, please give me a return. Because Roadie give you,
Yeah.
please, please, I beg you, get mad and tell me to take it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make my day. Make my
Make my
day.
day.
That's all I'm begging. So some people get mad at me. I'm like, you sure? Yeah, yeah, take it back because you're not trying to do extra. Okay,
Well,
you
you trying
know.
to get something for nothing? Fine. Hey,
Yeah,
bye.
like I'm good. It was one guy I forgot. Jeez, I forgot. But we was talking, and he started talking about, hey, go above and beyond because you can get tips. I'm not working for possible money.
Hmm.
Why am I working for possible? And do all the work.
That's what I heard some drivers. When I see in their content how they'll knock on the door, and I ain't knocking on
Hmm.
no fucking door. I ain't ringing no
No,
doorbell.
no, not
No.
at all. If you don't see me on the ring camera, you don't see me at all.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Yeah,
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Oh yeah, look, Nova said the dude with the toilets. He said the dude. So I had a video with the dude. That was about 2 weeks ago. Dude got smart with me, and I caught it on camera. I say, listen here, man, I'm actually doing you a favor because I took more steps than I usually take. I used to do security around the way that he live at,
Hmm.
and he kept playing games. He was like, Oh, I live on 4th Street. I live on Main Street. I'm in DC. You can't really play games like that over there because you
No.
get ticket. So I'm telling her, like, look, you got 30 seconds to tell me exactly where you at. So he straightened up right there. Then, I finally go to his house and, you know, oh, FedEx did this. I said, I ain't FedEx. Oh,
Mm.
I said, well, but where you want me to push this at? He was like, oh, I need you to put it up. Where do you want me to push this at? Because I'm not going through the threshold. So he started talking about what FedEx do for him and this and that. And I said, well, maybe next time. He said, oh, you think you're going to be, he said, you think you're going to be delivering me for next time? Because, I'm going to let Home Depot know. I said, I don't work for Home Depot.
I
I
work for
don't work for Home
myself.
Depot. And I
I
did you
work
a
for
favor.
myself. Yeah, and if
I did
you
you a
want to
favor.
call,
They even take it to you
yeah,
right here. So
if you want to speak to the boss, okay, I'll give you the phone number.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he straightened up. As soon as I said that, he straightened up. And
Uh,
that's the thing that I like working for myself. Like you tell him, like, who you gonna call me? Because I mean, what you got? I mean, you gonna
mm,
have to call me, or to be honest with you, Rody and them don't really know what's going on, and then I'm so tight with my main store, my main Home
right.
Depot.
Mm,
You go call up there, they already know. They already know how I work. Like even the store associates up there know how I work, and they know like Ty is not doing nothing extra. Because I sat there and actually explained to them the TOS too, and I'm real good people, so they
right.
love when they. So I remember one client tried to call up there and tell on me. I get a phone call from the store associate, like, yeah, we told him you don't do steps and all that. I said, oh, thank you. Seen the client again. He said, you're still delivering? I said, I told you I don't work for Home Depot. I
Mm.
said, and I said it there, just walked off from him again, so
Right.
yeah.
Well, I know what you're saying. I feel like this, and I've said this a lot. Hey, it's only one of me. It's
Yeah.
only one of me, and these apps don't care about
Yeah.
if I mess up my back or my shoulder or my
Hmm.
wrist or sprain an ankle.
Right.
No, I gotta look out. I gotta look out for me when it comes to that now.
Pretty much. Pretty
So
much.
now, let's see here. We're talking. Well, you kind of hinted at this. The 6,500 challenge. So that's for the
Hmm.
month, correct?
Hmm.
And so, what's that based on?
So I did this challenge before on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I done featured a couple of vehicles on my channel from my '09 Dodge Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
I done did some stuff in a regular car. Basically, it was an issue that I noticed as I was coming up, um, talking to like other independent contractors, rideshare drivers, food delivery. We was
Right.
all grouping together, right? A lot of them was using rental cars. A lot of them was using like rental
Wow.
cars, and they didn't know how to really search Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for like a beater. I mean, a good
Right.
beater with a good engine and transmission, where you could flip your money multiple times, and then by the time you look down towards the end of the year, you got all this money saved, and you can get you something newer, flat out.
Right.
Um, so I did this challenge last year. Yeah, last year, and I finished the challenge. I bought a '09, the same '09 Dodge Caravan I got. I ran with that Dodge Caravan for a couple of months, showed people how much money you could make with a used vehicle.
Right.
And then um basically I'm doing it again because I get people popping up on the lives and stuff, ask me about the Dodge Caravan, or where did I finance my other van. I'm telling them I didn't finance. I went the Facebook Marketplace route, or the Craigslist route. Um, so basically, I'm telling people, if you make between 6,500 in 30 days to 7,000, right? But we just
Mm-hmm.
leaving that 6,500. Um,
Right.
that should be enough. Uh, if you live in a regular life, that should be enough for your rent. That should be enough, for your little life experience expenses, and then you should at least have 3,000 going into. It's a 4-week challenge, right? To hit
Right.
65, but that fifth week. you should be having between 2,500 to 3,000 going into that fifth week, and you do that last week, but you're also looking for a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going hard that last week, and now you got that money plus the money you save from the challenge to go get you a used vehicle to get out that rental car,
Okay.
to
Okay.
or to maybe go get a cargo van off of Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
You
Well,
know,
here's the
mm,
thing, and I probably would have done this differently, but I was in a position where I could finance.
mm-hmm,
Not everybody can, but and
yeah,
I'm not saying that to talk down on anybody.
mm-hmm,
But one thing about when you're able to, if you're able to buy something cash, you'll always be in a position of equity and profit.
mm-hmm,
You'll always be in that position of equity and profit.
right,
So, um, it's that simple. I mean, it's a matter of how much you can make on top to where you put yourself in a position of getting something else or whatever you want
right.
to do. Let's see here. Rig CH asked a question about um, what's needed to get the TSA, um, okay, to change 9 to pick up from airports. Just got your TWIC. Okay, I'm going to answer it this way. Ty may answer it a different way. I can't tell you about the back in 2023. I was dealing with a couple brokers who, in fact, I did a gig user segment about TSA, TWIC, and yeah, I did one. Check the archive, but I'm going to still answer the question. Um, there were a couple brokers whom I dealt with who were in a position to sponsor the test, and that's usually what happens. Once you're able to book a load opportunity, they'll say, well, you need to take the change 9 test. And so that's like a 45 minute thing where you go through the portal, and then you've got to answer 7 of 10 questions correctly in order to get that TSA 9 certification. That was my experience. But how about you, Ty? Am I?
Same thing.
Mhm.
Basically, where was I? I was contracted through US PAC, and
Mhm.
US PAC sent me the information
Mhm.
because we had parts going on to Reagan and Dallas.
Right.
So that was my experience. I don't know how I didn't have to do it by myself. I got sent the information to do
Right.
it, and they sent in the paper for me, I believe.
Right. And then
But
you get a PDF for yourself.
right,
Right.
right.
Now,
So yeah,
here's the thing with the TSA not change 9 certification. That's pretty much for when you're dealing with stuff that's going abroad. That's been my experience. If it's domestic, you don't hear anything about TSA change 9. It's when
yeah,
stuff's going abroad or it's coming in from abroad. That's when they want you to have both TWIC and TSA 9,
yeah.
TSA change 9.
That's rare, actually. You just made me remember that. I had to think about it, like, but that's actually rare to even get a load like that.
Oh
Correct
man,
me if I'm wrong, right?
I used to get them all. I used to get
You
them a
usually
lot
get
with
them. Okay.
a broker that I dealt with from like from October 2023 until like November of last year. I got
Hmm.
a lot of opportunities because
Okay.
I'd have to go to Atlanta airport,
Okay.
and I'd be dropping off at like oh shit, like Dutch KLM or Turkish
Okay.
Air. So you know.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Going out of the country. Yeah. I didn't
Hmm.
have too many opportunities like that, so
Hmm.
um I mostly did. Now, they just wanted me to have that just in case, but I
Right.
mostly delivered like airplane parts and all that, so they just wanted
Hmm.
me to be loaded up,
Yeah. I had a speaking of airplane parts, let's see, try to book low today, but needed that TSA certification. So then the broker didn't sponsor that. Oh man, so that's fucked up. Again, I can't. I don't know if the brokers that I dealt with are still sponsoring the test because when I took that was 2023. So, but I can say again, is from my experience, at least the broker that I dealt with, they were in a position to also sponsor the test. and so that's why I was able to uh, take it and move on. So I want to get back to the $6,500 challenge. I mean, that kind of evokes some memories because I was thinking back to 2022 when, of course, different time, different era. But I remember having a lot of $200 days. But I was earning 6,000 a month very consistently. So, for example, going back in the archive, February 2022, 6238, March 2022, 6957, April 2022, 6623. But again, it was a lot of $200 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Give you a little spoiler alert. I'm almost done the challenge. I'm
Okay.
still uploading videos, but we on week 3. I made 2,300 last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I lock in, I lock in. When I see, I'm the type of guy that I come out here, make what I can in a short amount of time. Now, since I got back on the cargo van end, but like with this challenge, I do want to show people that it can be done. So I had to
Right.
throw a $2,000 week up in there.
Okay.
Most definitely. Let them know that that it can be done. Don't get it twisted. Don't sit there because I see a lot of people. A lot of people just like to sit on one app and say, "Damn, it's slow out here today." Did you check the other 5 apps? So that's why I
Right.
was like, I'm dusting off Skip Cart and stuff like that that nobody talk about, and they sending me catering orders and all that. I got a catering and a roadie in the car at the same time. 60
Right.
$70 hour. So it's like,
Right. Yeah, man. See, that's the way you do it.
yeah.
Of course, I famously did this, but it didn't. It worked out where I ended up getting paid for get paid full pop because the restaurant didn't have their act together though. But I had actually tried to stack a brokered opportunity with a catering opportunity. It was such that I was coming through Columbia, and it was going to Lexington. My load was taking me to Atlanta. So if you can imagine, then going to Richmond, you're
Right.
going to Richmond Airport, but then you stop off in like Fauquier or someplace in Northern Virginia for the catering order. That's the way it was
Right.
set up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I done had a ride share opportunity in the car with a box in the back. So hey, look, man, I stack a human if I can. Look, I mean, it is, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. In fact, I remember doing something like that. This is going back. You actually triggered a memory where I stacked a ride share with a roadie because it's from the airport.
Yeah.
It
Oh yeah.
worked.
Oh yeah.
It worked.
It's going. Well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised now. You know what I mean?
All right. Aaron says he's about to finance his van. He'd be happy to make 4,000 a month. Is a reasonable salary for where I live in Georgia. Okay. You know what, Aaron? That's going to be depending. That's going to be depending on you. I again, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That's going to be depending on you. But I will say, more money, more headaches.
Yeah.
More money, more headaches.
4K and GA.
What part of Georgia? You're talking about Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could do way better than 4K. I mean,
Oh yeah.
depending on how much time he want to put into it. My issue is about this sentence he just sent right here. Is I'm gonna be a little harder on him right quick with that. If he's financing, and you should be happy with 4K if you're financing. Point blank period. I don't know what your credit score is or anything, but do you have like a plan to finance and still profit, not make, but profit 4K after your bills and expenses and gas and stuff? What's your game plan?
Right.
No.
Yeah. Now this is something that's I'm glad you mentioned that because I have a video out there from last year where I talk about what's your break point. And a break point is the intersection of your income and your costs. and your costs are going to be not only the costs with the van, but also at home. And so what you want to do is figure out or anticipate at what point when you're going to when those numbers are going to intersect to
Yeah.
where ideally the income is going to pass the expenses.
Right.
So for me, I anticipated it would take me sometime in around July, August, and I hit it. I hit that target
Right.
back in 2023. And I've pretty much been running ever since. I will say this: don't hold your back. I mean, 4,000 is a reasonable number to start out with. In fact, when I started out transitioning from the van, from the F-150 to the van, I earned like 5,500 first month,
Mm-hmm.
and then worked my way up to, well, actually, it was more like 7,000, but the number that I used to start out was 55. But I started out at 7, and then it got to 9, and then at some point I started hitting 10 a month, and I did that for the remainder of 2023. Last year
Yeah.
I hit 10 full times, and I still hit 6 figures. So don't. Hopefully, I'm answering the question, but don't. Set reasonable expectations. 4,000 is a reasonable number to hit to start out, but I would not be mad at you if you set a goal for 6,000.
Yeah, I think 6,000. Because listening to what you just said your first month. Yeah, I mean your expectation was 55, right?
Yeah.
But your first month you hit 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's thinking 4K, right, he's going to be doing enough work just to hit the 4K. And I feel
Right.
as though I'm gonna go back to that again. I feel as though
Okay.
with the financing thing, I have a full time job making 4K, but I want to work for myself. See,
Okay.
I have money easily can afford financing the van, 8K. Um, yeah. See, all
Okay.
right.
So he's working a
So
full time job. So yeah, I mean, hey, who is it? The guy in New York. He has the mom van that he be working.
yeah,
He works a
that's
full
the
time
guy.
job.
That's the guy I told to go get that van. That's
Mhm.
Dom Gigabyte NYC. So
Yeah.
I, because he at first he said, he wanted some more room, and I told him go get a stow and go Dodge Caravan, and
Mm-hmm.
he does work full time. He do want to make that jump to the bigger cargo van, but a lot of people not saying, well, not scared is not the word, but once you jump out of that comfort zone,
Yeah.
it gets tricky. It gets tricky.
Yeah.
Um, like this guy Aaron, he said, I have a full time job making 4K, but I want to work for myself. First thing you need to do, working for yourself is forget about that full time job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to go straight out like that, go. You got to hit the ground running, but you also have to do your research. And I think, especially in Atlanta, I know, not think, but I know you can make way more than 4K in Atlanta. That's the metropolitan right there. I mean, that's the
Right.
that's one of the good freight lines over there in Atlanta.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. I mean, Atlanta. You've got Rhodey because that's Rhodey's backyard.
mhm.
Um, I hear this is what I hear. The times when I go through Atlanta, I don't see shit though. But I mean, I hear Rhodey is the big thing there. Freight's
Yeah,
big. I don't know about dispatch though, but um, uh,
I think
what
dispatch
else?
is growing there.
Synpex. Synpex
Simpex,
is
I think
another
they
one.
got another app too down there, and they got a lot of. See, the thing about Atlanta is they got a lot of contracts down there.
Yes.
They got a
Hmm.
lot of contracts down there where you don't even have to work. Their contracts are not bad down there. Like up here, they're trying to finesse us on contracts. That's why you don't even see me talk about contract work. I do
Hmm.
have something in the works now, more of a partnership
Hmm.
with this warehouse. But contract wise down there, they got a lot of medical runs. They got a lot of
Right.
marijuana runs, all that stuff. You know, I know
Mm.
somebody that
The
does
legal,
that.
the legal, the legal
Legal,
runs.
legal is legal. You know, it's not
Okay.
illegal. So it's a lot of pharmaceutical stuff going on down there, and I know somebody personally that
Right.
runs for this company. It's a lot of contracts down in Atlanta where you don't have to work all day or doing 150 packages for 50 cents. You know, it's a lot of stuff down there.
Hmm. Well, I got this up about A Pringles asking about he's hearing how you can make 5,000 a week going over the road. Yeah, see his reaction. Let me put it to you like this, man. When you do over the road, pretty much your miles is your money. Okay, and what I mean by that is they typically are running any somewhere around $1 a mile. That's kind of like the
Hmm.
benchmark. And
Hmm.
so, can you, if you feel you can drive 5,000 miles in a week, have at it, man. But it's possible. But there's a guy, Daily Grind with the Grams. He is doing over the road. He started out slow last year,
Hmm.
but he's trying to reach 100 six figures doing over the road.
Hmm.
Um, he's out of Houston, which is where I'm
Yeah,
from.
I'm tracking him. He was started off very slow.
Right,
Um, but the thing about him, like you just said, you got to keep them wheels rolling. That's what he doing.
right.
He going to sleep, right back at it. I think he's doing like maybe like 2 runs a day, something like that. You got to keep those wheels rolling. You're not, like you said, the
Right.
benchmark right now for over the road cargo vans is between, you're lucky you get between 80 to 100. I mean, excuse me, 80 cent to $1.50. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you might have some people on YouTube lying and saying they're getting $3 in the sprint van. I don't know, but
Well, I have. I mean, I have, but
yeah.
then again,
Well, well, well. We talking about running because this is what I'm saying. I don't. You don't run 24 hours, right? You
no,
don't do the
no.
OTR. You really don't do what I'm saying. You don't like do the OTR thing, right? Too
Hmm.
much, right? I see that you do. I could call you more of a regional guy,
Yeah, I've always said that. I've always said regional,
right?
because I have the opportunity of being home every night, and
Right,
my radius of operation is 100 miles primarily.
right. So regional. So if you really like, I know you're paying attention for sure. Like even on roadie, you could get $3 per mile if you stay
Mm.
regional, right? But the
Right.
OTR guys, like when I used to do OTR, let's just say on a bigger scale, I used to do OTR in a tractor trailer. So um once you start really like dedicating yourself to OTR, then you start taking them dollar 50 cent per mile. You gotta like, all right, I got a $500 run because I'm running like 400 miles. But if
Right.
the faster I knock this out, the quicker I get that 400 something dollars, and that's how they run.
Hmm. Right. Right. I just had to show Daily Grind with the Grams. Yeah. Yeah. He's doing a lot of dollar 20. I just,
Hmm.
that's something that when I first started out and I shown the numbers where I was just hovering over $1 a mile, but then I started asking for more money and I got more
Hmm.
money. Now, but if I was over the road, I probably would have to dial that back
Yeah.
and be more realistic. Um, so that's one reason why I'm not doing over the road. But then again, I may just for the hell of it one week do that just to see what I can
Hmm.
do. Just just for a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can. The thing about over the road is you can make a lot of money, but you got to make sure that you have upcoming trips. Like soon as you drop this one off,
Right.
and especially like I don't really want to preach this on YouTube, but it's a gray area with the cargo vans, right? It's a
Hmm.
very gray area with the cargo vans and sprinter vans because guess what we don't need where bigger truck. Guess what we don't need what bigger trucks have to use
The
a
clock,
EL.
ELD,
Yeah. So we
electronic
could
logging device. Yeah.
we could break the rules
Hmm.
without getting pulled over. I mean, not telling you how to run 24 hours a day, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking,
Yes.
You can sleep for 2 hours a day and keep running, and that's
Hmm.
what some people are doing. Um, with the back when I started driving tractor trailers, we was on paper book.
Right.
So I'm not saying I did this, but it was tractor trailer drivers that keep multiple paper books.
Hmm.
And you have one that's correct, and you have one to throw off DOT when you get pulled over.
Right.
I
Which
might
is a
know somebody
which is a
personally.
cash grab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I might know somebody personally that ran from Washington D.C. to Texas in a day and a half. Now,
Hmm.
I don't know,
Hmm.
but but that was back in the days. But you can't. I couldn't do that now because you got that electronic system tracking you on the
Right.
bigger vehicles. But I always tell people, like, if you're really running in a sprinter van or a cargo van and you got trips constantly, you could make those numbers up there with the box trucks. You know.
Hmm. Carl, man, thanks for coming through. Buying me a cup of coffee next time I'm passing through Hartsville. It's been since last time I was Hartsville was December 31st. Um, but I'm not a coffee. Yeah, Sarah, my daughter, she'll tell you I'm not a coffee guy, but maybe some fries or hamburger. Yeah, that's. But yeah, that's possible. There's a guy whose name I missed though, but I actually showed on the community page a guy named Mr. Tremarcus Darden. Met him last year in Atlanta, and he's like, "Hey man, can you come out here with me?" And what he did was he called his wife and had me to say, asked me to say speak to her, which is what I
Hmm.
did. It was like a 10, 11, 10, 12 second clip.
Hmm.
And we took a picture together. But yeah, he was a subscriber. He was I believe he's out of North Carolina. But yeah, so it's possible. Anything's possible. Well, Ty, we made it a fast hour, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we just talked and we had conversation. I think we went over a lot of things that may help people. Um, while I'm at it, I'm going to put this out there. Um, this gentleman, Reggie, ran it up. He's going to
Hmm.
be my scheduled guest next week. He's out of the South Florida market, young guy who's been working hard. I'm going to say this because I was actually a subscriber of his when he was when he was not monetized, meaning that he didn't have at least 1,000 subscribers and then meet the viewing hours. I was like a subscriber of his when he was in the hundreds. So I've seen him document his experience there, and we're gonna talk next week. Um, is there anything else you want to add before we?
No, no, great talking to you. And also, I was following running up Reggie
Mhm.
on his journey too before he was monetized, and I see how he went from nervous to not nervous anymore. Just getting to
Right.
the bag. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I'll be looking forward to that to watch that next week.
Well, let's see. Dolan, thanks for coming through here. Audio was better. Yeah, last week the audio was horrible.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I figured out some things, and also I think the positioning of the microphone is I think helped this time around. I
mhm.
noticed that with a video that I had put together last week. So hopefully I can keep this together. Yeah, daughter says auto is on. Okay, so there we go. It's starting to sound like a podcast or something like that.
All right.
All right, man. Well, Ty, hopefully I can ask you to come on at some point later in the year.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, man.
All right. All right. I'm gonna let you out of here. And yo, thanks for joining the damn conversation this week. I've already shared with you who my scheduled guest is going to be next week. Thanks, Rick CH. Um, yeah, we just talked, and I think I said at the beginning, if I were a pastor, I asked for y'all to pray for my strength. I think I think I felt a couple of prayers that went through. I got through this. What I did not share was I was exhausted and dehydrated today. Um, and I also had like a little bug. So as late as 8:30, it's like I was just not there. So sometimes what happens is you get that boost of energy to get through it. So that's again, John Kneecap, Cap. Hey man, thanks for coming through here. Thanks, daughter. 10 out of 10 recommend. But again, thanks for coming through here. I'm gonna call it a week and be looking for y'all next week.